Welcome to this short video of features found in the Retirement Analysis Kit that are popular in the 403B marketplace. I am Ed Dressel, President of Trust Builders. We have been working in the 403B market for over 25 years, helping advisors increase their sales by moving the meetings from "I'm here to sell you something" to "I'm here to educate you." When the meeting paradigm changes from sales to education, people start leaning forward and walls or hurdles go down. People are being sold to all day long and have a natural barrier to "I really don't want to hear the sales pitch." When the meetings go from the paradigm of sales to education, people start leaning forward and go, "I didn't expect this," and they start connecting with what you're saying. In today's meeting, I want to highlight two features found in the Retirement Analysis Kit. The first one is the paycheck calculator. How to connect with individuals when they see their paycheck illustrated right on the screen, and how to move them forward from that into talking about increasing deferrals and also what other accounts do they have. The other very popular tool in the 403B space is the quick gap calculator, helping clients see the income they'll have from the pension system that they may have and the ability to move them forward and naturally talk about, "Yeah, I've also got some money over here," because they're being educated. So without any further ado, let's jump into the paycheck calculator. The paycheck calculator lays out like a lot of TRAK calculators. Over on the left hand side over here we have the data entry that's critical to it. On the right hand side we're going to have the calculations, and eventually we'll fill this space with additional calculations as well. The first data entry is the employer file, critical to setting up the analysis. This determines what pension system they're in, what kind of retirement plan that they have, what state they're taxed in, how many times they're paid a year, etc. It can be accessed by the editor here, but I'm going to skip over that and just highlight the features today. There's a few more data points that are entered as we move down the screen, including the options of a TSA Roth, which can be turned on or off inside of the employer file. After the data points are entered, we can take a look over on the right hand side and we can see pretty closely, if not to the penny, their paycheck stub. Often this matches to a penny, and when a client sees their net pay represented right down here, they go, "Wow, how did you do that?" and "That is pretty new, cool," and they start leaning forward and start wanting to know, what is this meeting really about? Not your typical approach to the TSA 403B sales. At this point I would recommend hiding, when that number matches, hiding the withholding taxes. And now we can talk about what we really want to talk about, retirement planning contributions. We also take a different approach as we move forward to many other approaches, and I can click on Add a Calculator, and by default, you can change this if you'd like, we have the Quick Max calculator. What this highlights is how much they're allowed to contribute per year on an annual basis. Given that this client is not 50 yet, they don't have the 50 and over catch-up, and this client would be allowed to move their 100 contribution to $1,450. But the meaningful information is that would affect their paycheck by almost $1,100 per paycheck. Now most clients wouldn't be able to afford that, but there's a reason to use this approach. Rather than thinking of small increments, $25, $50, $75, they're now seeing the whole spectrum. And the conversation goes like this. We're sitting down with Eric Smith in this situation. "Eric, if you gave the maximum, your income would reduce by $1,100 and your take-home pay would almost be $2,600. And Eric would probably object, "Well, I can't afford that." "Didn't think you could, Eric. But what do you think you can afford?" And notice we've done a couple things. We're talking about their take-home pay, the number that means something to them. Additionally, we're adding money to the maximum contribution, adding money to the maximum of the take-home pay versus taking it away from the current level, a different approach. And Eric may say, "Well, I can afford $3,500 per paycheck. That's what I need to live on." And we enter the $3,500 and hit tab, and it automatically calculates the new TSA contribution. So if we go right here, we can say we've moved their TSA contribution from $100 to $272, a significant increase in their deferrals. TRAK has a number of other features that I'm not highlighting in this area, and we'll skip over them, but they're covered in the user's manual that's available on the File, Help, and Support tab. At this point, if we're still looking for some increase in deferrals, we have a number of options. Often somebody will jump into the optional 1040 calculator, and in this calculator we talk to them about taking some or all of their federal refund and moving it to the retirement plan. Why? Well, there is no interest given by the federal government on the federal refund, and additionally a lot of people blow the money, and also TSA plans often offer a hardship clause should they need some of that money due to a sickness or illness. So here we have some year-to-date information over on the left, and over on the right we've got some 1040 information. It's nice if we have 1040 form from last year and ask them if there's any significant changes in their deferrals this year. We can walk through some of the drop-down screens and enter data off of that. We find out about things we naturally may not have found about. They're getting taxable interest income or some dividend income, indicating they've got money sitting in a CD or a bond, something we may be interested. In our training we talk about how to approach that in a very soft way. Once we get through the data entry, we can click the Show 1040 Analysis button, and down below we instantly get to see the two paychecks, the current year and what we call the whole year. And we'll reduce the withholding taxes, and we can say it still has the same $3,500 worth of income. Over on the right we can see that the refund is changed from the $1,800 to $125. That occurred because in the withholding allowances, under the withholding allowances down here, the values were changed from married in 2 to married in 5, and this allows an increase in the income, but that increase in income was automatically deposited into the TSA account. So rather than the $100 or the $200 and some dollars that they was contributing, we're now at $460 per paycheck. Eric may say, you know, I'd still like to have a little bit of federal refund, so we can enter it at $800, and the software will automatically calculate the federal refund, and now we're almost at the same value at a TSA contributions of almost $400. A nice contribution and a significant increase from the $100 that Eric is contributing today. Again, the 1040 is an optional calculator that some advisors use to find additional contributions. The next calculator, the option, we could have gone straight from the paycheck to the projections calculator. We accessed it through the 1040. Is the projections. What does this accumulate and distribute over time? We enter information down on the left as we do many TRAK calculators, and one of the key pieces of information is the 50,000 TSA balance. And we also ask them in a natural part of the conversation, what do you have in other accounts today? And listed we have an old IRA and an old 401k that's Eric's may have some money in that he may not be managing. We talk about that in training and how to talk to him about it and say, if you ever need any help with this, that's what I'm here for. Instantly, as we make data changes on the left, the calculations on the right are changed. So if I change the rate of return to 6% during retirement, we can see the impact of it, and it shows them the amount of income that they're going to get during the retirement time. So right now Eric's anticipating about a 61% replacement income for these values. With these values, Eric may say to you at this point, I like what you have, but give me a couple years. I've got a couple expenses now. Or give me a year. I've got a couple things going on. We can talk to him under the cost to wait tab and says, just Eric, we want to let you know what it's going to cost to put your decision off a year. It's about a $25,000 cost in your account balance. It's going to cost you 1.5% of your income for every year in retirement. If you push it off 2 years, it's a 3% reduction of the income for retirement. So very quickly we can make it a very meaningful number. We're not selling anything, we're just educating why the decision is better made today than a year or two down the road. This can also be coupled with, if I hit Control P or go into the File menu and select Print, we can preview the reports and take a look at where they're at and what they might want to do, and generate a preview of the reports of what Eric's doing, and taking a look at the paycheck analysis. So very quickly and efficiently, we can walk an individual through a paycheck analysis. This whole process takes about 10 minutes when working with somebody and you've been trained on the software. One other calculator I want to highlight today is TRAK's Quick Gap Calculator. This is a 10 or 15 minute tool to sit somebody down and talk to them about their pension system and where they're at. In this system, again, the data is over on the left and the calculations are on the right. We can highlight with somebody in the Ohio STRS pension system and show them the various options that are available to them under the pension system. Additionally, we don't always just calculate the pension system and the options, but we'll calculate the COLA per the plan document. We'll calculate cash balance options. For example, in the state of Ohio, you have the option of a plop, and those values are entered right here. And the math for that and how that's calculated is always highlighted on the report. We don't want to hide how we did the math, but show you how we put that together. So if the client is considering the plop account, you're going to be there when they're making the decisions. That's a great place to be. We can also ask the client about what other accounts they have. Over here on the far left, we add the other accounts, and we can enter multiple different types of account, including retirement investments, that same IRA and old 401k we were working with earlier, a known income account, such as annuity, working part-time, a rental house income, or a lump sum account, such as a sale of a rental account. Those can all be included in the software very efficiently and very effectively. And it's a great place to ask them, what other accounts do you have that I need to know about for providing you a good retirement calculation? And then we can drill through any of the pages, highlighting it, showing them where they're at. Here's for a typical retirement years report, including the pension system, right here from Ohio STRS, the retirement, the IRA, the various monies that they have. You can control distribution orders. A general values tab showing them they're 75% funded. How does the typical person going to feel about that? Well, okay, now 75 is not too bad. How would they feel about a 25% in cut and pay today? Probably not too good. A retirement solutions tab showing them what is some of the solutions that they can come up with. $360 of savings today, or if they wait a year, the cost is going to go up. What happens if we change the retirement age? How does that impact the values? And we can show it right in front of them. A DB cost analysis page showing them the cost of taking an option. I want to highlight one other page and then show you a retirement report specifically geared to the pension 403B world. Here's a report calculating what are they leaving on the table if they should decide to retire at 65. What more might they get from their pension system? And here it's going to show them that they're going to have a 3% increase in deferral, or a 6% if they push it off a year or 2 years or 3 years. So they get an idea of what's being left on the table. The nice thing about this report is it's education. It's not sales, and it's really helping you establishing yourself as I'm here to educate you. Under the File menu, I'm going to select Print again, and there's one report I want to drill down to and show you a preview of. Down here we have the DB plan information. I'm going to select that and generate a preview so we can take a look at it. And this provides a one-page report for the client that gives them a highlight of their plan, highlighting how the primary option was calculated and what other options there are for them, and other things such as COLA, partial lump sum payment, Social Security, etc. So they get an idea. It's an education sheet for them to understand their plan and some of the options that are available to them. TRAK has a host of other tools that you could be working with, including the gap analysis calculator, a more detailed analysis of what we went through in the quick gap, a pension max calculator, and a whole suite of tools for helping you be effective when you're working with your client. This overview was just that, a quick overview of how the retirement analysis kit works and why it's effective and been proven effective in the 403B market space. My name is Ed Dressel. If you have more questions or want to answer them, please feel free to give us a call. Our phone number is on the screen. It's 503-831-1111. and I look forward to talking to you and interacting with you and how the Retirement Analysis Kit can help increase your deferrals.